24th of July 2022. Thank you so much for watching UBC TV and welcome to UBC News Roundup today. My name is Sharon Kyomugisha. In what transpired this week, President Yoweri Museveni on Wednesday 20th July 2022 addressed the nation on a number of issues including recent murders and COVID-19 cases recorded in 24 districts. The president also tackled the rise in fuel prices, saying that the short and long-term solutions to rising fuel prices is for the country to switch from petrol and diesel vehicles to electric cars, among others. Details follow.
The president rejected the idea of subsidies and tax cuts, saying they will drain the country's $4 billion foreign reserves without curing the mistake and consequences caused by what he described as people trying to be like God.
So, you are now going to encroach on your reserves because we have got foreign reserves. Our reserves have been good. In the past, it used to be about $3 billion, but now they are more than $4 billion. Now, if you subsidize, first of all, you mislead people. People think that things are normal.
He emphasized that taxes are meant for development if Ugandans want to have new roads and other projects. Therefore, if taxes are cut or commodity prices subsidized, the projects are then stopped and money is taken for eating and buying fuel to drive cars.
The tarmac road from Rusarira to Kawamba to Nkonge to Ntutsi, Sembabule, tugireke esente tuziteke mu kukwatirako abagala kugura more petrol, abagala kugura petrol yokuvuga moto. That's not a correct way.
The president condemned the act of mismanagement of nature and the resultant climate change-related complications.
Some people come and say God was wrong. What is the water? I want to turn it into a garden. But God is the one who said that this is Exaru, a wetland, Exara. Now you come and you say, no, God was wrong. Then the use of substances which are not well checked, like the use of fossil fuels.
He urged Ugandans to learn to live within their means and then migrate to better solutions.
Bwendaba embeera ng'eno awo engambira nti wano wafiira muloge that we must migrate and do something else. Not subsidize this danger. Because when you subsidize, people will continue buying more and more and more and more. Because they will not see you will create an artificial comfort to the people for them to think that things are normal when they are not normal. And you do that, by bleeding yourself. Akasente kobadde oterese, kobadde oterekedde abaana kudda mu ssomero, kati okajjeyo n'oyongera ku transport, yogenda mu town.
On the issue of commodity prices, the President welcomed the ideas fronted to support large-scale farmers to produce more grain backed by irrigation and also help the small-scale farmers under the parish development model to venture into commercial farming.
But for Engano, we have got alternatives. Me, I don't eat bread. I have not eaten bread for a long time. My meal is muhogo, gonja, etoke, empogola, akaro. That's why I'm going to be 78 very soon. But if you want football here, you will see how we can sort it out.
The President also implored Ugandans, especially the political elites, to avoid lies, parasitism tendencies and the problem of not having a vision.
Obulimba, obunyunyusi, obutalengera.
Saying some people are against value addition for coffee, yet it is important that Uganda adds value to every export out of the country. Sandra Kahunde, UBC News.
Moving on from that, the cooperation agreement between NRM's President Yoweri Museveni and Democratic Party President Norbert Mao was the hottest news item in the country this week. A section of the opposition members claim that the move will increase the strength of opposition politics in Uganda. President Yoweri Museveni on Wednesday, 28th July 2022, agreed with the Democratic Party President Norbert Mao to cooperate in building the politics of the country. Details follow.
It is not the first time President Yoweri Museveni considers enhancing his government by deploying members from the opposition.
Therefore, I am an expert on opposition issues.
To President Yoweri Museveni, poaching from the opposition fuels socio-economic transformation through having a common productive voice.
And I invite the other parties, if they have structures, they are most welcome. Once you are a leader, you are a leader. It must be a registered party. No, I cannot. I don't want to be arrested for aiding and abetting illegality. But by working with groups which are not registered under the law.
In 2019, during the national budget reading, President Museveni revealed why he does not hesitate to work with his opponents.
When, therefore, I see groups who say that they are opposition, but preach disruption, support arson, do not use many opportunities that are available to sensitize people under them to metamorphose socio-economically, yet some of them are drawing huge salaries from the consideration fund, I am tempted to use a strong negative word to describe them, but I will keep it to myself for now.
But the unanswered question, aching a suspicious mind, is why the Democratic Party is the nearest pond to fish from.
Political parties are a means to an end. They cannot be an end in themselves. With the socio-economic transformation of North Ankole, although I belong to the opposition, DP, I worked under and with some positive elements of UPC, which was controlling the government. Why? I did not want UPC to interfere with my mission of transforming my people from nomadism, subsistence farming, etc., to quasi-modern farming.
On Wednesday, 20th July 2022, news shocked the nation after President Yoweri Museveni penned an agreement with the country's oldest political party, DP President Norbert Mao to enforce cooperation through practicing mature and constructive politics in Uganda. The gesture has attracted controversial views from the public gallery.
The man is a schemer and he's a user. If he thinks he will be different from Agra Ward, from Maratubo, and a host of many other people, he's deceiving himself. To DP, I did warn my colleagues and told them we have tried to get the party back on track and failed.
For starters, some of us are relieved. Relieved because, you see, for a long time, we have always said people will know them, will be known by their fruits, by their actions, yeah? And so I am glad that Mr. Mao has stopped pretending. It's not a good thing to pretend, it's a good thing to take a stand.
Norbert Mao revealed that the pact is an open opportunity to gather party members who are scattered all over the country.
When you look at the agreement, I think it was between him as a person and his Secretary General, not binding the Democratic Party. Because when I was member of the Democratic Party, they have a constitution, and it clearly states how a party, DP, can cooperate with other parties or form alliances. And this would emanate from a national council or a delegates conference. So without that, then it can't bind the Democratic Party. He has gone as an individual.
Mao, the Democratic Party chairman, has always stressed his status of setting aside political differences and serve the country first.
They keep on saying Mao is a pumpkin, that Mao is paid by Museveni. That one now has no currency. They can say whatever they want about me. Ugandans are paying attention to the person with Bueno.
Before the cows returned home, President Yoweri Museveni had appointed Norbert Mao as the Cabinet Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs in a letter dated 21st January 2022. The move has added cement to the controversial cooperation agreement between the NRM and DP.
I hope when he gets to this position, he's able to put his intellect that we know him of, his knowledge, to the benefit of these countries. We wouldn't love to miss his contribution to this country just because he's in the opposition.
President Yoweri Museveni has also appointed Akelo Beatrice, the woman member of parliament for Agago district, as the Minister of State for Economic Monitoring, a position which Peter Ogwang, who has been appointed Minister of State for Education and Sports, held.
It's like some work which I've been doing before. I've been an RDC for over 10 years, doing a lot of monitoring in local governments. So I feel I can do this work very well because I have at least experience in monitoring. And according to how I've been doing, we need not to wait when things have gone bad. That's when you go for postmortem.
The end is to transform the people, the family, the area, the country, and Africa. Transform them how? By making everybody join the modernity of the four sectors: commercial agriculture with Chura, industries, like the minister was showing you here, services, and ICT.
The appointments await vetting by the August House. Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gwitabinji, UBC News.
Still in the course of the week, the ruling National Resistance Movement this week denied rumors that it has bought the Democratic Party, saying it has established a partnership between the two parties to see how they can take the country forward. Speaking to the press, NRM Secretary General Richard Todwong said besides that, other aims were to establish some services. And we have a detailed report.
The Chairman National Resistance Movement, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and the President General of Democratic Party, Norbert Mao, yesterday signed a working agreement on behalf of the two political parties to work together. The two parties have agreed to work together to advance Uganda's development agenda and promote good governance, among others.
It has quite a number of principles that entails mutual cooperation in areas of governance, in areas of the economy, especially where it comes to policies, accountability, human rights, democracy, and involvement of the Democratic Party in the main governance structure and framework.
The NRM Secretary General Richard Todong, who attended the meeting at State House Entebbe, told journalists that the partnership was a result of multiple engagements.
So to that level, we believe that these two leaders were engaging each other and were initiating this discussion for a long time on behalf of the political parties that they represent. And I believe consultations were widely carried out in both parties, and it came now to the final signing of the cooperation agreement that was signed yesterday.
Todong says the two parties agreed to meet regularly to evaluate the progress of the action points.
In the agreement, we should be meeting every after 3 months as leaders from both parties to monitor and see the implementation of the signed agreement. So within that, definitely I'm sure other development will come and we shall announce if they come. But for now, it is too soon to say what might come or what might follow.
He disclosed that the NRM continues to engage other political parties as clearly stated by President Museveni's readiness to dialogue with the opposition. On the issue of IPOD, Todong said there are political parties in the opposition who have agreed to join the alliance, urging that those who have not joined to follow suit. While dismissing media reports that DP was brought off by the NRM, Todong noted that political alliances are recognized world over, saying it is responsible politicking for political parties to work together.
There is no speculation, suspicion about this. These are normal things. DP has not been deregistered as a political party. Norbert Mao has not crossed to NRM as a politician. He is a member of the Democratic Party. He is still the president of the Democratic Party.
Joshua Kagoro, Joseph Moyingo, this is UBC News.
The First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Mrs. Janet Museveni, this week appreciated the Global Partnership for Education for supporting the transformation of education in Uganda. She said that the Global Partnership for Education has been dependable and has truly walked the talk with countries like Uganda, which are developing and still need that kind of support, especially in times like now. The First Lady was meeting the GPE mission team led by Fezo, the regional manager East and Southern Africa GPE Secretariat, who paid a courtesy call on her at State House, Nakasero.
Education mission, so to multiply. The schools have grown smaller because of the numbers of our students. So we thought that this time round GPE2 would really help us to expand those schools and rehabilitate them and really restore them to their former glory, if you like, which would be a very big step in the transformation of education in the country. And so primary education, we are hoping that we'll continue to do with our national funding, national budget funding. And as I'm sure you have learned, pre-primary is done by private sector, but government does training of teachers and caregivers for pre-primary, and government also inspects the private sector pre-primary schools, and we have not yet made the decision for government to take on pre-primary because, as you must understand by now, we have universal education in the country, both primary and secondary. And universal education brings bigger populations of learners into school, which is what we want really to cover all school-going age to be in school. And our struggle now is to keep them in school until they complete all levels of education.
And I'm glad that the core compact team identified two areas, policy areas for system transformation. One is the pre-primary and the other one is primary. And within that, they have identified access plus quality, improving access and quality as system transformation areas.
In more stories, the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Boda, this week launched UBC West Radio Studios at a ceremony witnessed by UBC senior staff and board members in Barra City. The minister was flanked by the State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Joyce Nabosa Sebugwao, the Managing Director, Winston Agaba, and Board Chairperson, James Tumusimi, among other luminaries. The guests were welcomed to the studios by the Manager UBC West, Agwe Barutia, and Manager UBC Radios, Doreen Ndezi.
All roads were leading to Mbarara City this Saturday as several people flogged activities of Radio West for its launch and the Chitumbure concert. The event kicked off with a march and a bicycle competition in the morning from Mbarara City before going back to the radio for its launch and talk show. Ministers Dr. Chris Baryomus and Joyce Nabosa Sebugwao arrived at UBC Radio West premises in Mbarara City towards 11 a.m. Led by the Managing Director UBC Winston Agaba and Board Chairperson, the ministers toured the facility before being ushered to a live radio program.
Coverage of the news, we link up with the national news from Kampala, and we also have locally produced news here. We are excited because ICT and Madam Honorable Joyce Sebugwao, NITA-U connected the fiber optic backbone. We are using the fiber optic backbone here.
Murechete Minister wetu wenshonga zebyamakuru emprizana hamwe na teknolojia owekitinisa Dr. Chris Baryomunsi.
Twashemererwa okuje mu rubuga hano ya Mbarara studio etwiri Kampala konka tukagira ngo katugirete Mbarara.
Congratulations the people of Mbarara West. This achievement.
Addressing the region, ministers and team challenged the region to embrace the station.
UBC West empikahona eigwire kandi yaza kushika abantu bona abumukitwekeki bajotaburro bagihurira kurwum kasese kucyo abazyo kucyanye kiro
mumanye biki ebigenda maso na dala programs enunje nnyo government ze yateekawo mubadde muzimisinga mubadde temuzitegeera bulungi nkakasa nti okuva leero mujja kubanga muziwulira bulungi.
Nsangaira ino banange ab'Embalala okubabona kubanga Mbalala eno yeifwe
momyo wangicha pesa mwana nike wa ghetto studio me.
Next was the launch of the station.
That is it, UBC West.
The team later proceeded to be part of the gathering, which mainly comprised of UBC family and well-wishers.
For the last 70 years, UBC was in Kampala. So anybody who wanted to listen to UBC would tune in for about 20, 30 minutes, and then the station would change to another language. So people could not access it, could not fraternize with it, could not enjoy it as much as we expected it to be. In fact, that was one of the reasons I started Radio West here.
The President of the Republic of Uganda, Gen. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the several times we have met him with you and the board, has always insisted to get closer to the people. And we are very excited that this day has come as we launch UBC West here in Mbarara.
The population has been complaining a lot that the government is doing nothing because the communication has been very poor. After this move, I'm sure each and everybody will be able to follow what the government is doing for them.
Baryomusi, who was excited about the achievement, hailed Radio Uganda, which has transitioned to now UBC, for moving along the path of professionalism.
I want to say that UBC has remained the best in terms of professionalism, in terms of ethics, in terms of giving the government message. Many people, when they want the honest information from government, they tune to UBC.
It is under this line that the government sends a strong warning to those operating contrary to the industry's principles, as they will face it rough.
There are some radios, for instance, some time back, which were refusing to broadcast the national anthem. Can you imagine? When it is the government which has licensed you, they say for us we cannot broadcast the national anthem. There are media houses that abuse the opportunity that they have. They spread hatred.
He further notes that some laws are in the offing, especially to deal with social media misuse and citizen journalism.
So we are going to be a little bit strict in terms of regulation and providing oversight over our media houses.
To strengthen the government communication chain, a weekly ministers and permanent secretaries talk show will soon hit the air and sound waves of UBC.
We are soon going to launch a program on UBC television where ministers and permanent secretaries will be hosted once a week to explain what the government is doing through the ministries.
The long day events were opened up by a bicycle competition, which was flagged off by the Deputy MD UBC, Maurice Mugisha. Sempi Jaziz was the day's winner as he walked away with a brand new motorcycle and other decorations.
Nimusanyufu nnyo kubanga mpangudde empaka zino kuba mbadde nzeetegekera.
All right.
At University Inn, revelers and supporters of UBC Radio West gathered in their hundreds to cheer up the born baby at a mega annual feast known as Chitimbure, where they are expected to party till morning. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Thank you so much, Robert Onyango. There you have it. UBC West relaunched and reborn now. Kabong district presidents this week commended government for a quick response to their famine situation. Kabong received 100 tons of posho and 50 tons of beans to serve over 20,000 vulnerable families across the district. The food was received by the LC5 chairperson Mary Gino, Woman Member of Parliament Christine Nakwang, among others at the district headquarters.
Announce to you the food that was sent from the office of the Prime Minister to support the most affected persons in Kabong district.
Kabong district residents have received food from government. Loreria sub-county is one of the areas in Kabong where residents say they had lost hope due to insecurity that would not allow them into the gardens.
Destroying gardens in Loreria sub-county, and you will find that the third one is the hamworm spoil our crops since the time of planting up to now. We have a big...
As they chase most of the people away, the current insecurity. It's one of the hit sub-counties in the district.
Residents and their leaders thanked government for the food relief.
For this quick response, however small the food is, but it will help. It will help the most vulnerable people in the district. Throughout the district, we have received 100 tons of posho and 50 tons of beans. This one will go to those who are about to die, especially the elderly, people living with disabilities.
The ratio that is given to the people is small. I know this is better than nothing. We need to increase on the ratio.
Kabong has over 20,000 vulnerable families. Kabong district received 100 tons of posho and 50 tons of beans.
The Speaker of Parliament, Anita Among, this week tasked the Presidential Affairs Committee and members of Parliament from Karamoja region to monitor the food distribution process and come up with a clear report. During plenary, Speaker Anita Among also urged government to come up with a well-documented short-term, mid-term and long-term plan to manage the food crisis in Karamoja.
Several tons of food were last week dispatched to the starving communities of Karamoja region in response to the call by the area leaders. This was confirmed to the House by the Prime Minister Robina Nabanja, who told the House that over 200 tons of food had been dispatched to the starving communities. However, a section of members of Parliament are still not in terms with the said food dispatch and the mode of distribution.
Inform the country how prepared the government is to feed the population given an obvious across the country crop failure given the long droughts.
With the contingency fund that this parliament appropriated, we shall handle the situation.
Some members propose that a select committee be instituted to follow up on the matter.
This House ought to come up with a legislation that strengthens these district disaster management committees. The suggestion is that if you can, institute a select committee that can go on the ground and bring for us a reality. Because we are talking about the number of people who have now been buried.
Speaker of Parliament Anita Mong during today's plenary sitting directed the Presidential Affairs Committee of Parliament and leaders of Karamoja to go and follow up on the food distribution and give a comprehensive account to Parliament in a fortnight.
Let's go and watch and see food being distributed. We cannot just sit in this house when people are dying down there. Let the people go and see that the food reaches to the rightful people.
Speaker Anita also demanded that government presents an updated, attainable strategy on the short-term, middle-term and long-term management of the hunger crisis in Karamoja and other affected areas. State Minister for Karamoja Affairs, Agnes Nandutu, told the House that over 50 tractors are yet to be given to the Karamoja communities as one of the long-term strategies in addition to food distribution.
It is already going to provide for us tractors, about 50 tractors, to go and embark on food production in the region, such that we do not depend on relief all the time. Because we have a coordinated approach towards solving a problem in the Karamoja region. And not only Karamoja, in the whole country.
The chief opposition whip, John Baptist Nambeshe, told the House that the hunger situation in Karamoja has also exacerbated acts of sexual harassment, slavery, and some acts of child abuse.
And by the way, you see children children of 14 years below, crushing stones and loading on those trucks.
The hunger in Karamoja was escalated by the drought that hit the region and insecurity. Susan Naung and Gloria Gwitabinji reporting for UBC TV.
A number of teen girls are often subjected to sexual abuse by their relatives and peers. In the process, some get pregnant, a situation that stigmatizes both the girls and their close relatives. At Wakisa Ministries in Boyala, Wakiso, 33 girls, some as young as 13 years, have tales of sexual abuse dropping out of school and rejected as a result of early pregnancy. Stanbic Bank Uganda staff this weekend extended a helping hand to Wakisa Ministries so that teenage mothers are helped to get vocational skills, rejoin school after giving birth, and cancelled out of trauma.
Wakisa Ministries is a pregnancy crisis center located in Buyala Wakiso district that is providing emotional and material support to teenage girls who were forced into early pregnancies through sexual abuse.
When a girl gets pregnant, she's rejected by family because there's that social stigma and they just don't want to see her in the public. The family is ashamed. The father is so angry in most cases. So what they do, they will go and kill themselves by committing abortions. So what Wakisa has also done is to raise some money to take some girls back to school. And we have some who have gone through up to the level of the university.
The center runs a pregnancy crisis center which offers temporary shelter, pre- and postnatal care and counseling for young girls who are victims of sexual abuse from their families or neighbors and subsequently abandoned by their families.
Please, men, let's hold our values high. It is the best way to live and we have to give it our best shot so that we bring a better generation. These are mothers.
The teenagers are undergoing counseling as they prepare them for other opportunities, especially after giving birth.
We have trained them in vocational skills, that is tailoring, cookery, gardening, computer, English classes, and they do learn these skills so that they can go home and use those skills to earn a living if they're not able to go back to school.
Stanbic Bank Uganda is one of the organizations that has been providing support to this center.
They've been bringing us beds for the new center, mattresses for the new center, everything, you know, they've brought so much since we came in here, and I thank God for the Stanbic Bank. I really do. We have sewing machines in the class which were donated by Stanbic, and of course other companies have come in to help, because this is a charity.
Stanbic Bank also planted close to 250 fruit trees at the center as part of environmental awareness support to the young mothers.
Also encouraging these mothers to be able to preserve the environment. So we brought 250 trees for a start, but we are bringing others in phases. We have over 1,000 trees, and these are not just trees, they are fruit trees. We have mangoes, pineapples.
So as part of our goal to look at the environment sustainability activities, we're going to ensure that these trees are planted today as we do this activity, and we are going to work hand in hand with Wakisa to ensure that these trees grow.
The teenager girls are also helped to access basic vocational skills training, and after they have given birth are returned to school for more education so that they can gain means to support themselves and their children for a brighter future.
That's why we moved from Kampala. We were in Namirembe. We moved from there. We built a center in Wiera when we bought the land, and we have a big dormitory which can take in 50 girls at any one time. We have a teaching facility where we do tailoring and cookery and computer.
Wakisa Ministries was founded 16 years ago by Vivian Chitio, a professional nurse who early in her life witnessed a young girl dying as a result of forced abortion as a result of teenage pregnancy.
Still in the course of the week, the president of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, Constantino Thieno Mayende, this weekend appealed to Ugandans to cut down their expenditure as commodity prices continue to soar. This was during the closing of a 3-day 10th CPA Economic Forum that attracted 691 participants from East African Regional Bloc and beyond at the Imperial Resort Hotel in Entebbe.
We have set the framework for quality assurance. We have set the framework for adoption of standards in the country.
For the last 3 days, leading Ugandan accounts have been attending an economic forum by the Institute of Certified Public Accounts of Uganda with an aim of gathering ideas on how to improve the economy.
Our aim was to gather views from the accountancy profession on how we can develop our economy responsibly and respond to the impact of COVID, but also to respond to the struggling economy.
The forum has been held at when commodity prices, mainly fuel prices, food, spare parts, transport costs, among others, have been soaring.
That government needs to go back on the drawing board and know what do we need and what do we want. Separate the needs from the wants. It's a time now to be frugal. It is abnormal time. We need to be frugal. We need to know what are our basics, and we start from there.
The accountants asked the public to be prudent in all expenditures and avoid descending in a financial crisis.
Ugandans to come up and support the government during this time. It is actually not just an issue of government. It is a joint effort. We are saying let government and the citizens come to the drawing board together and answer the questions of the high commodity prices that we are facing now.
They also made recommendations to the Ministry of Finance on how to tame some of the challenges accruing from high commodity prices.
Help both the consumer, the public, but as well as the practitioners, they are our members, to ably serve the market.
The three-day 10th CPA Economic Forum, held under the theme A Responsive Economic Development Agenda, attracted participants from across East Africa and beyond.
691 participants attend in total over the 3 days. 415 were physical here and 276 were online.
Brian Tuminebiaruhanga, UBC News.
We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back with business news.
Vimba! Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves, high-flying saves, unbelievable goals, out-of-this-world celebrations.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Gold TV. Love it.
Are you a player in the tourism sector with a struggling business following the COVID pandemic? UDB, in partnership with European Union, is providing financial assistance to businesses operating in the tourism sector. You can access subsidized loan with grants, loan with a tenor of up to 5 years, free business advisory services, and free environmental impact assessment. Visit www.udbl.co.ug/call for applications to apply. Deadline for submission is 31st October 2022 at 5 p.m. For more information, please call 0414 355 509.
Enjoy more GBs for the same price on Airtel. Shareable using to Gabonais. We have increased GBs across all your favorite packs. Now, 4 GB is at 10,000 shillings and 10.5 GB at 22,500 shillings, all valid for a week. For the heavy data users, enjoy 24 GB at 50,000 shillings and 50 GB at 100,000 shillings, all valid for a month. Dial *175# or use the My Airtel app to buy these and more affordable weekly and monthly data bundles on Airtel, the smartphone network.
Did you know it is mandatory to have all births registered and a birth certificate issued? Failure to do so attracts a penalty of imprisonment or a fine. It's proof of age and belonging to parents, protects and provides children with legal rights from crimes and abuse like defilement and child labor. Give your children a good future today and have their birth certificates. For more information, visit the NERA office in your area or visit our website www.nera.go.ug. This message is brought to you by NERA.
Back to UBC News Roundup today on the 24th of July 2022 with me, Sharon Kyomugisha. In our business stories, Uganda Free Zones Authority this week met with members of Uganda Manufacturers Association for a sensitization dialogue on how they can leverage business opportunities within the national free zones. Now, this comes at a time when the sector is celebrating the achievement of contributing over 19% to Uganda's exported goods, as stipulated in NDP 3.
The new financial year 2022-23 is seeing Uganda Free Zones Authority make strategic moves in assembling various private manufacturers to leverage free zones.
Initially, when the free zone scheme was created in 2014, we believed and we know that it was supposed to be established or promoted by the private sector. But as we transition in the 8 years of our operations, we know that the role of government in facilitating the growth of the free zones will be very important. So as an institution, we are now setting up government-owned free zones or facilities where we provide customized industrial infrastructure for those who are exporting.
Since the Free Zones Act came into place in 2014, a sizable number of local manufacturers that were in operation before, operating out of the standards of free zones, feel the need to be considered under a sliding scale arrangement.
Sure that you're going to invest a certain amount of money which will bring a certain outcome, and then you're going to export. What's critical is the threshold, the 80-20 threshold. In fact, government outside the free zones as well, in the income tax laws, they are giving further incentives for people who are going 50 kilometers outside Kampala. So if you do that, you get double incentives.
As it is, any manufacturer that wants to tap into free zone prospects is required to amend their objectives under their registration with the URSB to legalize their operations as a free zone-worthy entity.
So if a company, for example, is exporting 10% now and it gets the benefit for the 10%, then it will weigh on its production so that if it finds that it's actually beneficial to increase the amount of exports, then it will go to 20. Then the next time it go to 30 until we get 80 and even 100%. So as opposed to now where they're left out because we're looking at only those who are doing 80%, and that is why the majority of the factories that are actually benefiting from this scheme are those that are doing horticulture, coffee, fish, because those are able to export even 100%.
Despite recognizing the prospects of operating under free zones like exemptions on import duty and provision of operating space with enabling infrastructure, manufacturers believe that it would be more prudent to operate under a special economic zone arrangement. UBC Business.
Now, a section of Boda riders in Kawempe this week hailed government for its efforts towards streamlining the Boda industry. Maweje Frank, who leads the Smart Boda Riders and Transporters Cooperative Society, says that this initiative will bring in a well-organized Boda industry. This was during an exhibition of files for the already registered participants in Kawempe.
The chairman, Smart Boda Riders and Transporters Cooperative Society in Kawempe, Maweje Frank, has unveiled the status of registered riders who are harmonizing the Boda.
Atwawulidde eddoboozi lya Ssaabaminisita ow'ekitiibwa ennyo Musafiri Nabbanja nga batwongera omwezi omulala mulamba mpaka nga lumu ogw'omwenda okuwandiisa abavuzi ba boda. So olwaleero twagadde tulageko omulimu gwe tukozeeko. Fayiro zino zirimu aba boda 7,600.
Maweje requested the Minister of Works and Transport, together with the Office of the Prime Minister, to consult Boda leaders about registration of riders.
Ziramu kulwa abavuzi ba boda tetukyayagala ba patroni mu mulimu gwaffe. Ffe twagala kolagana na offices za gavumenti ekisingako obanga oyagala kuyingira mulimu gwaffe.
Maweje urges Boda leaders to use 1 month ultimatum to register all riders in Kawempe division.
Amasejje kiriwo olwaleero Honorable Prime Minister abantu b'e Masaka bewandiisize Kampala. Abantu b'Empigi bewandiisize Kampala. Buli luguudo oluyingira Kampala luleeta abavuzi ba boda ku bisaawe ne bewandiisizaayo. So alwanyisa akavuyo bw'okozesa enkola eyo ogenda kubanga okotokedde bwereere nga tolina kyokoze. So ffe tusaba tuwulirizibwe abavuzi baffe nabo bategere ekigenda mu maaso kuba naffe twagala omulimu ogusinga obulungi.
Other Boda leaders use the same platform to call upon all riders who haven't registered to comply and avoid inconveniences, and this organization is delivering their service.
Abasinga fayiro zaabwe ezina so kyokwewandiisa tukyakwata era ng'akizaayo eri munnange minisita oba Ssaabaminisita kino ngenda kibaza mu binyo onywa die oba kiki ekyokwehaniikisa bodaboda tukatimalayira.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Oh, Susan, I want to propose to Rose. Yes, and this time I am serious.
Have you guys had sex?
Duh, of course.
And have you had sex without using condoms?
Hey, nga you're curious.
I'm more concerned. Are you having sex with other people?
Hey, hello, is this an interview or what?
No, just things you should think about. Do you know Rose's HIV status?
Okay, this is serious. Should I be worried?
It is actually serious. Do you know your HIV status?
I think I am safe. Many times we get into situations that put us at risk of HIV. However, the first step to ending HIV is getting tested and knowing your results.
It's Time Up HIV. Call 0800-211-046 or text 8080 toll-free for more information about how to prevent HIV.
This message is brought to you by Ministry of Health with support from USAID.
Well, from the international scene, this week South Sudan and Uganda business community want trade and investment bottlenecks resolved by those in authority. At the closing of the business forum in Juba this week, stakeholders from the private and public sector from Uganda and South Sudan committed to put in place measures to ensure proper and smooth business.
The three-day business forum sought to strengthen and enhance open trade and mutual investment. Many issues and suggestions were raised by the delegates from both countries, and all were focused on ironing out a series of challenges.
This is why we are urging the government of South Sudan, other than complete and total denials, let them put investigative people in the meetings as they happen, even here. If one raises a hand and talks about something, let them politely follow for positive reference.
So now we have come to see that we sign up certain papers in agreement of ironing out those bottlenecks, insecurities, mistrust, quality of things that we supply, clear marketing, and clear buy and sell.
Ugandan entrepreneurs and representatives of various organizations and the host consulate are optimistic that the discussions and resolutions passed at the meeting will open up a new and successful chapter.
If you want to do business, do genuine business. So we're saying there should be a lot of collaboration between the UNBS of Uganda and South Sudan National Bureau of Standards, so that in terms of the standards and also the revenue authorities to be very strict on the certificate of origin.
Most of the Ugandans who came here to do business are venturers and technocrat people like engineers and something like that. But businessmen, people as I see here.
But for Dr. Julian Aderi Omala, whose business valued at about 3.5 billion Ugandan shillings that has stalled for 5 years in South Sudan, she wants her issues urgently and amicably resolved.
I'm among the first pioneers in Uganda who came to Southern Sudan. I was the second landowner in Southern Sudan. I built a bakery and we are doing business. Wonderful business and transforming the women. It's unfortunate that a soldier from National Security after the war 2016 came and took over my property. I've come back, one, to claim back that property, and second, to do better business again. You know, to us as entrepreneurs, no matter how many times you've fallen down, but what matters, can you raise up again?
A successful and one-of-its-kind initiatives hosted by South Sudan attests to the government of Uganda's steadfast
desire to promote regional integration in order to harness the benefits. The three-day conference is wrapped up with a commitment from both parties to continue engaging in order to iron out the existing differences and foster the attainment of the intended goals. Dennis Igoa in South Sudan capital, Juba.
Now, Ugandan and South Sudan public and private sector players this week reaffirmed their commitment to scale up trade and business partnerships for mutual benefits. The pledge for improved bilateral and trade ties has been made at the ongoing South Sudan-Uganda Business Forum in Juba.
The guns have gone silent in this vast and resource-rich country of South Sudan, opening up significant business opportunities not only for Ugandan entrepreneurs but for anyone ready to explore new markets. Over 200 delegates from Uganda's public and private sector have converged in Juba for the inaugural South Sudan-Uganda Business Forum. The event seeks to promote Uganda's interests in South Sudan and create a conversation geared at growing trade and business portfolios between the two countries.
We have been facing so many challenges in this country. To promote business in South Sudan, you need certain things to be put in place. When there is no peace in this country, business cannot be run.
We have a common border, we have infrastructure that is being developed, and yet the business ties are less than $500 million. We believe that the potential between the two countries can be scaled to $3 billion easily. Unless the business community on both sides, facilitated and supported by the government agencies, come together to discuss, to harmonize, to promote, to support, and facilitate this discussion, we are going to remain at a very mundane level.
In the last 8 years, Ugandan exports to South Sudan have grown exponentially at an annualized rate of 46% from an estimated $17 million in 2012 to about $357 million in 2020. The trade and business ties are expected to be strengthened by the business-to-business as well as the government-to-government meetings.
So this is business to business, Uganda, South Sudan. The next meeting that will follow will be state to state, government to government. That is JPC, which will be held very soon. So all these observations, all these recommendations made in this forum will go to the Joint Permanent Commission meeting to be considered and endorsed.
I got a few information when I came back. I mean, part of a question, whether the South Sudanese doing business in Uganda. Yes, right from Koboko, Ajumani, Moyo, Gulu, name it, where the South Sudanese, they are doing the same businesses the Ugandans are doing. And the one in Kampala, especially, most of them have shops, restaurants, saloons.
Although Uganda is South Sudan's biggest trading partner in the region, the nature of most enterprises being operated by its citizens are either petty or small scale that ideally should be ring-fenced for the locals.
Otherwise, we have some business people who come here, but at the end of the day, you found that they even don't have that particular capital that can really make a good business is here. You see, what we need here is that you make your business and also you make developmental activities. That is to say, you have to build. It's not only collecting money and then you go and develop your country. This is unbecoming.
Since gaining its independence 11 years ago, trade between Uganda and South Sudan has thrived, notwithstanding with a couple of challenges.
In our sports stories, Uganda Olympic Committee's Culture and Education Commission this week climaxed its Olympus Full Circles project. This 5-month-long project was in partnership with several schools that have been rewarded for excellence. Take a look.
Where the targets of providing a holistic education, Uganda Olympic Committee's Culture and Education Commission rolled out the Olympism Full Circles initiative. This was in partnership with several schools that engaged in competition that focused on inculcating the Olympic values of respect, excellence, and friendship.
The most important thing is this is not a one-off. These activities that we put in these books are supposed to be our day-to-day activities that we do. This should be the norm of how we operate when we talk about friendship, when we talk about respect, the joy of effort. It's not only in sport, but it should be also as part of our lives. When we are in school doing our exams, we shouldn't be cheating. We should be happy for what we achieve as young people, and as we grow into the future of this generation. If we instill these things, or I would say, into our lives, and they become the norm.
This pioneer initiative was a reserve for children between 14 to 21 years and attracted 43 schools.
We are hoping that sport teaches you the value of respecting each other and then also striving for excellence. A lot of you come from schools where within your motto excellence is heavily embedded, and not only excellence academically, but excellence in sport, excellence in your life.
The participants shared experiences from the initiative that reached more than 5,000 participants, and importantly, all of them youth.
You know that the 5 circles of the Olympics represented something, yeah? And now getting to know that, oh, the 5 values start with the joy of effort, fair play, pursuit of excellence, respect and balance between body, will and mind, and incorporating all these things with, life. So it was quite fun.
They were from schools like King's College Budo, Tororo Town College, Bweranyanji Girls and Rugoji Army, and have been urged to implement the values of Olympism into ordinary ways of life.
Thank you so much for watching UBC News Roundup today on the 24th of July 2022. My name is Sharon Kyomugisha. Have a lovely day, a great week starting, and God bless. Bye-bye.